Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel again with Tahseen. Today we have a Jason Wike. We are going to discuss about his business. He has three different kind of businesses. He is doing multiple things, and especially I'm very excited with him because we both are doing the apparel business, and I'm going to be asked something about how he did start all the things, and I'm going also asking the questions about him, how he is managing all the things that has three different businesses. He's also interested in the car and the watches, and he also has a building like real estate business he is also doing. I'm going to start with him. Hi, Jason.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Wonderful.
The first question that when did you start and when did you start your business and this idea come through in your mind? Okay, let's help out the people to bring your thought in their t-shirts and the cap.
So we started like officially launched in 2021, January of 2021. So I'm a car guy. I go drive on a bunch of rallies with like a bunch of Lamborghinis and Ferraris and Porsches and stuff like that. And on one of our rallies, one of my really close friends who's also become a mentor, amazing person, very successful businessman. We were sitting at dinner one night and he's like, man, he goes, Jason, you know how to do so many things and you know how to do so many things well. He's like, if you could focus on just one thing that you're passionate about, like you'll be a millionaire. So I went home and I was like, I really took it to heart. I'm like, okay, well, what is it that I'm passionate about that I know um, can be something that can grow and be successful? And I've always collected hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and stuff like that. So I was like, and I've always wanted to have my own brand. Like it was just cool. It would be cool to wear my own stuff.
Oh,
So the first iteration of it was going to be called the Bearded Ginger. So I used to have a big long red beard and I've got red hair. So, and I was like, here's what I want to do. I want to have a clothing line. It's going to be called the Bearded Ginger. It's going to have this cool logo. And he's like, I like the idea of the clothing line, but you're going to alienate 90% of the population on the world. He goes, and it's really selfish. He goes, what you want to do is try to figure out how to use your idea to help other people,
mm,
and how to make it about them, not about you. So went home, really thought about it. And this was during the time when the whole toxic masculinity thing was really big.
mm,
You know, guys were like, if you stood up for this or you stood up for oh, you're just being a toxic, toxic male. And it was also right during COVID. So we had all of these turmoil things that were coming at the same time. So I was like, well, I really want to reach out to men and tell them, like, there's a good way to be strong. There's a good way to be a warrior. There's a good way to fight for those things that you hold dear. And so I drew up another logo. Our original logo was like this Spartan guy, the big long braided beard and gashes in his helmet. And here you go. This is what I'm thinking. He's like, that's great. And we just took off from there.
that's a perfect thing, but it's a very complicated idea to build. I know about the little bit the embroidery digitizing take too much difficulty and the threads and the machinery system it took to what exactly how did you think it's a very complicated thing
So it was funny because I started with like no experience. Like I just went, hey, I'm going to start a clothing line. And my first batch that we went to uh, a local store or a print shop, and hey, I want this many designs. I drew up the designs, had them digitize it, um, and then I want this many designs, this many shirts, this many hoodies. Designed the hats, picked out all the materials, all the blanks, and launch with that. I mean, I literally went from a drawing on a piece of paper
Mhm.
of the logo to a completely launched. I mean, we had website. I had branded boxes. We had hang tag. I mean, we had everything completely launched in 3 months. Photo shoot done, whole 9 yards. So we just when I put my mind to something, I put the pedal to the metal and we just go forward.
Any future idea do you have in your mind? Okay, I wanted to be do like I wanted to do this things in the future. That any future plan in the regarding of the embroidery
With the
and
clothing brand?
yes, yes, clothing brand.
Yeah. So we started off with the Spartan, and then I rebranded a little over a year ago, and still the same We Are Warriors Apparel, but we went from the Spartan to we went with it had Overcome on the front. Like I needed something powerful, and other companies were taking my logo and changing it just a little bit, but they were using my logo. Yeah, so I was like, man, I didn't want something so generic. So I wanted something powerful that made a statement. So we went with like our hoodies would say Overcome on the front of the t-shirt or on the front of the hoodie. And then on the back, it would have Overcome, and then it had the definition underneath it. So it said Overcome, and then it had, just like it is in the dictionary, it had V for verb, and then it said to defeat an enemy, to prevail. So that big message was on the back of the hoodie. And it was like, we rebranded into that. And that one went, I mean, it still sells today. And then the next year, so this year, we launched the Unbreakable series. Okay. So we have the Overcome series, we have the Unbreakable series. And for the Unbreakable series, I actually brought in a professional movie crew, and we shot like a 4-minute little video for as a promo. So it's a boxer, and he's in the ring boxing, and he gets hit, and it flashes back to him and his girlfriend fighting in the car. Then it flashes to him training, and he's outside. It's raining. There's lightning, and there's just a big heavy bag hanging from a tree, and he's wearing our full Unbreakable outfit, and he's just hitting the bag. And then it goes back to him in the ring. He gets hit again, and it flashes back, and he's getting fired from his job. And then it goes back to the training. Then he gets hit again, and it goes back to his car's broke down, and he's lifting the hood, and there's smoke coming out of the car. And then it goes back to him training. Then he gets hit, and he hits the mat. Real dramatic. Boom. And he's just laying there. And then it goes to a training montage, and then it has a voiceover. Then he gets up, and he goes and he knocks the, ends up winning the boxing match. So, but it has the same similar concept. So it said Unbreakable, and then it has the definition underneath it. So it says adjective, unable to be destroyed, indestructible. So I wanted to have power with the words, because people go, okay, Overcome. Okay, well, what does that mean? Unbreakable. Okay, so what does that mean? So when you give them the meaning that goes along with it, now all of a sudden they can put that thought in their head that when they're wearing their stuff, they're like, I'm not just unbreakable. Like, I'm unable to be destroyed. I'm indestructible, or overcome. Like, I'm going to defeat my enemy today. I'm going to prevail. And we've just had a ton of stories that have come out of that. And our new series that we're getting ready to launch is our Warrior series. So it's going to have the Viking runes, so the Viking symbols for warrior. And then on the back of it, it has this big block letter stuff, and it says, it's time for war. So
it's a very exciting to see. How many brands do you have? I saw your Facebook. Why I asking this question? I saw your profile. You are interested in the car, and you were very interested in the car. And I saw your website and the email ID, that's apparel. So there are too much different area. And I saw the your profile. There was the culinary art, and there is something that you were study about the culinary. So what exactly the 3 dimensions?
Oh, the culinary? Oh, so I'm a retired chef. I was a professional, like, high-end chef for,
you have 3 dimensions,
15.
right? You have a 3 dimensions. You have a 3 dimensions: culinary, the car interest, and apparel. The 3 different dimensions.
Oh, I've actually got more. So I retired from being chef. So I own a bunch of real estate as well. So I've got like rental properties. So I've got a bunch of multifamily stuff. I also buy and sell high-end watches. So like AP, Rolex, Omega, stuff like that. And then my clothing line. So cars, clothing line, watches, real estate. I have my hands in a little bit of everything.
Okay. Any failure in your mind that you would like to be discuss here? The future, our viewers will learn from that. Any failure do you have in your mind that you would like to be discussed in my podcast?
Yeah. So when we started, um, I didn't have the knowledge or the information. I just knew what I wanted to do, and I didn't seek out any training. Like, how do you start a clothing brand? How do you find manufacturers? How do you research? How do you negotiate pricing? Like, I didn't. How do you build a website? How do you do social media? Like, I didn't research or really look at anything of that. Um, so investing in yourself, like I have in our real estate stuff, I have masterminds that I'm a part of, training groups that I'm a part of. Same thing with watches. I spent a lot of money going through a bunch of courses and classes, and
Mhm.
I'm a part of a bunch of mastermind groups that show like how do you take photography when you're trying to sell the watches that you're buying? How do you negotiate um, a better price, to be able to make a little more of a profit? So that is something that as I continue to grow, especially in the clothing line, the clothing industry is continually learning,
Okay.
because social media changes all the time. Used to you could go run Facebook ads for $5 a day and you'd get five, six, seven sales. Now you're spending $100 a day and you may not get anybody to go to your website. You know, what used to work a year ago, you could do a post organically and you would get a lot of traffic. Now you got to have videos, there's reels. Used to, they only wanted 17 seconds or less. Now they want minute long video. So everything is completely, constantly changing. So it is the knowledge, trying to keep up with all of that type of stuff to stay with the trends. And then people's taste, like what the styles of what people are wearing. Like our hats, for example, we run all of our hats are flat bills, but I designed them with a peak in the middle so they can be bent and still look good. So I tried to meet two demographics at the same time. But then now you've got those A-frame hats. Those are becoming popular. So I have to be able to stay on top of the trend that if I start seeing that, hey, flat bills are going away and maybe trucker hats or those 5-panel hats or A-frame hats are starting to become more popular, then I need to be able to make that shift and not be married like, oh, this is my baby. Like, this is what I wear, you know. So I have to continually look forward to what the customer is doing.
Actually, I do have a viewers like the apparel viewers, and I'm also belonging to the apparel industry. So I just wanted to ask, from where do I start if I wanted to start the new business like apparel and the t-shirts? So what the first step and the second step? Where can I get the study? So I wanted to get the advantage from you because you have a failure that this is the question I wanted to be dive in.
Yep. So first thing is you want to get a design.
Yes,
You want to have the idea. You want to have your home run design.
yes.
So let's say you're designing a T-shirt. You want to
No,
have
I just wanted to start my own business, apparel business, not this individual
yeah.
shirts.
Well, but what I'm saying is to be able to like you're going to build your website, you're going to build
Okay.
your LLC, you're going to do all that type of like all the business type of stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
your Shopify store, you can have everything all set up business wise. But if you don't have that home run idea, then you'll have everything set up and then you'll never sell anything. So if I was to do it all over again, that's where I would go. Is I would have came up with my home run design first, show it to people, and then when you have people, strangers that are going, man, that's really cool, then I would take that. Then I would go and build my website, my photography, like all of the stuff would be built around that home run design. Because let's say you come up with a name for your apparel company and nobody likes it. Well, you spent all this time, effort, money into this name or into the website, or you went and, you got the LLC and people are like, yeah, that sucks. I look at, if you remember, like Nike, Phil Knight, when he originally started Nike, he wanted to call it Dimension 6. That was going to be Nike, but he had these people that were around him like, oh, no, people like 4-letter words. So they went with Nike, the goddess of victory. And, but Nike's whole history would be different if it was called Dimension 6. Like that name just doesn't fit. So, so you got to have that home run idea. Like you have to have, because you can build off of that. So get the idea and then test it. You may not have go make shirts, but maybe you got a computer, like a drawing, a mock-up. Go show people, hey, would you wear this? What do you think about this? Not just your friends and family, but like co-workers, people that'll give you a real answer. And then once you have that idea, do the same thing with the idea of the name. Hey, I'm thinking of this. This is going to be the design. This is going to be the name of the clothing brand. Get people's feedback, and preferably people that are, again, not your friends and family, because they'll just be like, oh, yeah, that's great. You want people that'll give you honest feedback. And then once you have that foundation, that base, then you go to Shopify and you get a Shopify store or a Wix store or whatever. You go get your LLC set up. And then you can go to, so if you go to Alibaba, is one of the places that is where I found a lot of my manufacturers. There's two different sides of Alibaba. One is that if you just want to go buy a bunch of cheap trinkets and stuff like that, like there's the consumer side, and then there's the manufacturer side. But once you have your LLC, your EIN, all of that type of stuff set up, then you can go to Alibaba and you could be like, and get signed up as a manufacturer distributor. And then let's say, so like I wear New Era hats is what I used to wear. So I went into, I want New Era hats, and it brought up the manufacturers for New Era, like who actually does the manufacturing. And then I reached out, connected with them. Hey, this is my idea, my design. They did mock-ups. I want to get sample. They send you a sample. You make adjustments, changes, and you just build relationship. So same thing with the shirts. Hey, I want to do next level tri-blends, or, Docker polos or whatever. And you reach out to these different people and you get samples, and then you can figure out, hey, I want to continue to use these people or not. But it all starts with, you got to have the foundation. You got to have that home run idea first.
Is there only online resources where can I learn? Online resources I can get studied from there? Any mentor in your mind? We can follow them.
So Entrebeliever is the one that I use the most. I've been a part of their mastermind group. I've also been a part of their inner circle group. Like they have the mastermind, and then they have like a big mastermind where it is more private. So instead of being in a group of 100, you're in a group of 10, and you're getting more of a one-on-one discussion with them. But they have classes like training modules. This is how you do product photography. This is how you source and negotiate product manufacturers. This is how you run ads. This is how you do, like, they have all of these. I mean, there's like, if you sat down and went through everything one by one by one, right, back and forth, I mean, it's literally probably a full week of information, 8 hours a day, just in the training modules. And then they have live, live mastermind meetings where they're going over, like, they'll pull up your website and they'll be like, cool, we're going to go over, so-and-so's website. And then they go through and okay, we like where this is, this is confusing. You're not using real product shots, you're using mock-ups, and so that's, out of all the people that I've done research on, like, there's a lot of stuff that you can find for free on YouTube, which is a great place to start. But if you have the funds to be able to invest in real nitty gritty training, Entrebeliever is where I would go.
Thank you so much for your idea. And I think it's around 25 minutes, so I just wanted to give you any suggestion would you like to give us, especially those who are watching. And I can I have 5 minutes extra, because I have one more question about your cars, because it's a very interesting. Then I will take your feedback. So I just wanted to know, what's your experience about the car. And I saw the car, and there you have 2 or 3 different companies. So how you going to be handle all the things in a one? That's the question in my mind. And then in the end, I will take you the feedback. And mhm.
So you want the car stuff first?
Yes, I heard it.
Okay. So I have management in place that runs my my real estate. So my big part is I'm dealing with finding properties, building, like acquisitions, and then I deal with the contractors. So I'm not dealing with the tenants and the maintenance and stuff like that every day. I have people that do that. The watches, that's more of a hobby that allows me to do other fun stuff. So the whole thing with the watches is, when I'm with my real estate, we're dealing a lot with bankers or private investors. So when you're walking in and you're trying to get a guy to give you $3 million for a property, if you walk in and you're wearing a $10,000 watch, they approach you and look at you differently, versus if you just walk in with like an Apple Watch or something like that. So it became a talking point that opened up opportunities for investors. And if you do it correctly, it's like, you can wear this watch for basically free for however long. And then when it sells, now you get to go get something new. So it's no longer a liability, it's an asset. So, I mean, just in the past 2 months, I've probably worn $70,000 worth of watches. And, all of those I have sold and made money on. The last 2 that I had, I actually took an AP and a James Bond Omega, and I traded both of those for a Porsche. So I took the 2 watches, flew out to McAllen, Texas, and traded 2 watches for a Porsche. So, and then drove it back from Texas. So it's something cool that opens up opportunities that you just normally wouldn't have before. Um, and on the different cars, so the Lambo uh, is a very interesting thing. So that particular car was so my buddy that I was telling you about, that was my mentor, that was talking to me about starting the business. We were on another rally, and he was like, "Hey, I want to help you blow up this year." So he goes, that's his car. He goes, "I'm going to take my car. I'm going to wrap it in your company. I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to do this because I want to help support." And then after he did that, he did a bunch of photo shoots. Then he went to Europe for a month and a half. And he calls me and says, "Hey, come get the car. It's yours for a month and a half." He goes, "I know you're going to be doing photo shoots. You've got shows that you're going to do. So come get the car. It's yours for a month and a half." So that particular shot was part of the photo shoot. So
Okay.
I've had a bunch of different cars, but that one was his. That just shows that having the right circle of people to be able to push and drive you forward, is, I mean, who else takes a $200,000 car and says, "Hey, I'm going to pay to have a wrap for your company on it, and then drive it around, and I'm going to do photo shoots with it, inspirational photo shoots." So great friend to have.
That's a great. And thus, I'm going to close this. As any message would you like to give us, especially for
Yes,
that?
definitely.
Because it's an apparel discussion. You can give any messages.
Yep. So take immediate action.
Oh,
That is people's biggest shortcoming, is if you take immediate action, then you can fail fast. Because if you fail fast, then you can make adjustments, changes, and be successful even faster.
okay.
And people get so hung up on it has to be perfect the first time. It's not going to be perfect the first time. So just go. If you have the idea, go do it. Go start it. Learn on the way.
Very great idea. Fast failure and do it right now. Either it's perfect or not. Just do it, right? The fast failure.
Exactly.
The two messages are here.
Yes.
The fast failure.
Yeah.
And do it whatever.
Fail fast.
And do not try to make the first time perfect things. That's a great message.
Yeah. You want to have
Mm-hmm.
you want to have that home run idea, but it doesn't matter what you're doing. Like when you buy your first real estate property, you're probably going to overpay. You're probably going to not cash flow on it. Like you're not going to have it perfect right out of the gun. If you opened up a restaurant, you're probably going to have a few months where things are going to be tight. But the people that are never going to be successful are the ones that sit on the sideline and analyze and try to get all the risk taken out. The guys that are super, super successful, they have a goal, they have a dream, and they just go do it.
Do it.
And they just go do it over and over and over again.
Thank you so much, Jason, and very nice talking to you. And I really excited because I learned lots of things. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.